Well, Steven, are we really putting all our faith in a fucking corgi?
Yes,
Why?
because the Corgi predicted 7 games.
Okay.
What? Let me tell me that. Tell me this. What are you going to put your faith in a Corgi, or are you going to put your faith in Jordan Poole breaking out of a slump out of nowhere? Are you going to put your faith in Klay Thompson? I'm sorry, but if you gave me the list of those, I'm picking the Corgi right now.
Yeah, I am gonna, put my faith in a dog shooting basketballs in was it a laundry basket over
It
actual
was it.
players?
It was actually it was absolutely. I love how we look. It's like this dog just conveniently a week ago happened to shoot these basketballs as if, and this video just happened to be released only 2 days ago. Like it was so edited to get it to where it is today. It's like, whoa, this Corgi's predicted it right so far. I don't think so.
Well, yeah, given the backstory. So there's a video out there with a corgi shooting a basketball the day of or just before the series starts, and it's supposed to predict who's going to win the series in the way it's supposed to go. So game one, I guess the corgi made the basket in the Lakers ball. Then the corgi, whatever. The damn corgi has said that the Warriors are going to come back in 7, and the same corgi, I guess, predicted the Warriors are going to beat the Celtics in 6 last year, and he also predicted that the Lakers were going to beat the Grizzlies. And welcome to Just Your Opinion, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Papa. The Warriors are down 3-1. It's chaotic right now. We'll get all to it. But real quick, let me just say this. I love dogs. I'm a dog lover. I can't stand corgis. They're the weirdest looking dogs. So I can't put my faith in this
So you
dog.
hate dogs. So
Not all dogs. I don't like corgis.
Mm.
They're weird
But
looking.
if you hate one dog, you hate them all, as far as I'm concerned. So from that,
Now,
you
what
hate
kind of
dogs.
stupid shit is that?
You hate dogs. It's just clearly you hate dogs.
I love.
How do you not like a corgis are the most adorable
They're
little
weird
dogs on the
looking.
planet.
They're just they got big old bug eyes. Their ears are long. Just give me a good old lab, a chocolate lab, a
adorable
yellow
eyes,
lab.
the little bodies, and they
Nah,
walk around. Have you
give
ever
me a
met
big dog.
Have you ever met a corgi?
Face to face, paw to paw.
Have you met a corgi? Have you had a run-in with a corgi?
Yeah, yeah.
You're lying. I don't believe you.
I don't have a friend that has a corgi. If you're asking me that, no.
So then, how do you know you hate corgis? You hate them just by the looks of them. So
Yes,
you're just judging things based on
I'm
their look.
discriminatory towards corgis. You're damn right I am.
You hate dogs. Wow.
No, I don't hate. Why do you jump to that conclusion? I hate all dogs. I just hate corgis.
If you hate corgis, you hate all dogs. That's the rule.
That's the
If you hate
dumbest thing
any
I've ever
sort of
heard.
if you hate any sort of dog, you hate all dogs.
Well, are you a fan of pit bulls?
Yeah, love pit bulls.
All
Love
right.
all dogs. All dogs, all
Every
shapes,
single
all sizes.
all dogs go to heaven in your book.
All dogs go to heaven. There was one corgi. Well, there's 2 different corgis that had an impact on my life. One recently has gone away from KCBS. Well, actually, 3 of them. We had a corgi mix. Her name was Sandy. She died. Then
Sorry to hear that.
that was a little back. That was a little while back. Then there was another who was at our station. Her name was Coco the corgi, adorable little corgi. And then,
And hold on, sorry, she was the KCBS dog.
Oh, we have dogs all around. There's multiple dogs that come into the KCBS studio that chill.
And they're just corporate dogs.
They're not corporate dogs. They're just dogs of employees who work there.
Or they're allowed to come to work.
Yeah, we bring them.
I don't know if I like that.
What? So you hate dogs?
No, Steven, I don't hate dogs. Just dogs
do.
don't belong at work. Sorry.
What are you talking about? Have you ever look? I'm sorry that a dog would not be able to would get in your way of the frustration from what happened in Game 4, and you would be able to take dogs. But when I'm wow, Derek, I didn't take you for one to hate dogs, but you hate dogs. Damn.
I do not hate dogs. I love dogs by far. I love dogs. Hate cats. I will say that. I hate all cats.
Right.
But, except for Levi the cat, who was my roommate. Uh,
Mm.
but yeah, come on. I'm not putting my faith in the Warriors coming back in this series because of a damn corgi. Sorry, it's my least favorite dog.
So what are you gonna do? Put it's your least favorite dog.
I probably I don't know. Like poodles are not great.
Mm. So you do hate dogs.
Like
Interesting.
little foo dogs. I like big old dogs. I like dogs, to put in the
You
Pat
like
McAfee terms.
you like dogs?
By the way, did you see that
Uh,
there's a rumor going around that McAfee's going to leave YouTube and go to ESPN?
yeah, I saw that.
That defeats the whole purpose of his show. He loves to say fuck all the time, and they can't do that on ESPN.
Yeah, yeah. Plus, he still manages to get a bunch of people watching, even though the show's not that great. So, yeah,
I mean, say
he's.
what you
I told you,
will.
he's great. He's great. Told you, he's great. It's just the show. I'm not a big fan of
No,
the show.
well, I mean, say what you will, but the guy's on paternity leave right now, and he gets Ian Rappaport to fill in for him. That's something.
That's pretty. That's pretty big time. So you hate
Yeah.
dogs, huh?
Shut up. All right. No, I'm not a fan of corgis, and I don't believe this corgi. So if the Warriors don't come back, are we all just going to blame this damn dog?
Eh, we'll shoulder some of the blame to the dog, yes, but I think it would primarily go towards the players and the team.
As it should. And didn't we like? Wasn't there? Isn't there always some kind of animal that predicts this stuff, like a octopus in the past, or a orangutan or something? I don't even know.
Not sure. Do you hate other animals too? Are we gonna go
Yeah,
down the
Steven, I
rabbit
hate
hole
all
of?
animals. I hate all animals. There you go.
Hmm,
You happy now?
yeah. Well, no, not really. Can't believe I'm co-hosting with a guy who hates dogs. It's just, kind of a deal breaker, to be honest, Derek. I don't know. This might have to be our last pod,
Last episode.
last episode. I mean, I
Well,
know it's just your opinion, man, but your opinion on corgis sucks.
it may be our last episode previewing a Warriors game.
Ooh,
Yeah, nice transition.
nice.
Because we are in must-win territory now. The Warriors are down 3-1, and it's not going well, to say the least. I will give you the floor, sir, on what your thoughts were on last night's
Oh gosh.
104 to 101 loss to the Los Angeles Lakers.
Well, there's plenty of specifics that we can get into. We can get into the struggles of Clay and Jordan Poole. Of course, that's a big talking point. Um, kind of the interesting lineup changes by Steve Kerr. I actually think the reaction to that has kind of been a little overblown. I do want to get to that. But just my overall thoughts on the game. Um, Thought they were working for 3 quarters. I texted you about the Steph Curry GP2 pick and roll. That was
Yep,
working in the second quarter. They were doing it
it's
just
beautiful.
possession after possession. They were getting open shots from it. Even though maybe the first option didn't work, there'd always be someone open at some point after running that pick and roll. And they did that in the third quarter more with Andrew Wiggins. And then they got away from it because the Lakers kind of figured it out and the Warriors didn't really adjust. But I think that game, and the reason that we're so disappointed is because we seem to have forgotten what they were like in the regular season. Steve Kerr can tell you this is a different team. This is the postseason. We're not going to look back on that regular season now. Well, we can as fans. We can as people who watch these games and evaluate them. And if you go back, you could probably take, like 80% from the road losses. You could take 80% of Steve Kerr's press conferences afterwards and then apply them to every road game because it was the same struggle that they had, which was late game execution on the road. They always get frantic, they always get impatient. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the pressure getting to them. Maybe it's them understanding truly that this is a potential end to their dynasty. But the number one thing to me is the late game execution. And then rockin' new era, Ernie put it perfectly. Lonnie freaking Walker the fourth.
Yep.
They got production from someone in their bench. The Warriors didn't get any production outside of Steph and Andrew Wiggins, who had an Andrew Wiggins type of game, relatively consistent, relatively quiet, a quiet double-digit performance.
Mhm.
So that's the number one thing to me, though. It's just This is what we've seen on the road constantly. Like I want to say I'm surprised, but at the same time I'm not. At the same time I'm not.
Yeah. Real quick, shout out to the Ernies on the text line here during the my corgi hate.
Yeah.
Rock a New Era and Ernie, both Ernies. How do you like dolphins? What about Dolly the dolphin? Good callback. If anybody remembers, probably one of the greatest moments in the history of radio is Greg Papa and John Lunn interviewing Malcolm something,
Brenner.
Malcolm Brenner, who was the dolphin lover, and he admitted on the Afternoon Delight that he fucked a dolphin. And yeah, just great callback, guys. You guys are truly fans. Thank you. Anyway, back to the Warriors. First of all, I just want to say that I'm glad we're doing
Great
this
addition.
podcast.
Great, just great addition. This is
Oh yeah.
This is going great. First off, you hate dogs, and now you want to talk about a dolphin lover. Ugh.
Yeah, it was the greatest interview I've ever heard in my life.
Oh.
I'm glad we're doing this podcast the day after, because if we did this last night, I would have been just a mess, because I've stated my feelings with the Warriors in the series against the Lakers. This series is paramount to me because it's a statement to the Lakers and the Lakers fan base that the Warriors should be included in the conversation of the great dynasties and the great franchise of the NBA. And I got to remind myself sometimes that this is not the same Warrior team that we've seen in the past that have won these championships. It's very different. And you hit it on the head, Steven, with the regular season being the indicator of what this team really is.
Yeah.
And they struggle on the road. They struggle in late game execution. Just to start with how the game started, or even before the game, Shams Charania, or Shams, is it Shams? Shams revealing that GP2 was going to start the game, and Steve Kerr was not happy about that. And I don't blame him, to be honest, because between the Jordan Poole video getting leaked out and that being a thing, Warriors got a tattletale in the organization that they got to worry about, but that's a time for another conversation. I liked the idea of GP2 starting when the game began. I was not a fan of it initially. I was like, damn, we're going to go small again? Okay. I've been saying this whole goddamn week that they need to go physical. And I guess to counteract the Lakers' physicality, they got to go small. And it was working. I agree with you, Steven. I thought that the Steph Curry GP2 pick and roll was beautiful. The way that it was working, everybody was playing underneath the rim. I wanted to see, like, Andrew Wiggins was doing it to start off, but then he got away and he was shooting more threes. And I don't understand why this guy just can't go to the rack a little bit more. He needs to be more aggressive, but whatever. It was working. Steph Curry was not shooting great. It was not his best three-point performance, but he was still shooting some clutch threes. No one was having a great shooting game whatsoever, from Steph to Clay to Jordan Poole. We'll get all into it, but the inside game was working. They found a little loophole in their defense with Anthony Davis underneath the basket. It was working. And while Steph did not have a great three-point performance, he had a great all-around performance with his triple-double, scoring. How much did he finish with? 31 points, 14 assists, and 10 rebounds. But he was a one-man offense. He was keeping them in that game because of him. He was getting no help from Klay Thompson. He was getting no help from Jordan Poole. And this is just a big bugaboo I have with the entire NBA and really how the Warriors play. And it's never been a problem in the past because they've always shot threes and they've made threes. But when you're going to pass up layups, you better damn well make those threes. And on multiple occasions last night, I was pulling whatever hair I have left because Dante DiVincenzo had a clear basket and he passed it up to give it to Andrew Wiggins and he missed it. Okay, that's frustrating, but whatever. I know this is kind of mixed with some people today, but I thought on the Steph Curry missed, like, short 2-point shot.
Yeah.
Draymond Green catches the rebound. And then he dishes it back to Steph Curry. If you look again, Draymond Green's right underneath the basket. And he's got Dennis Schroeder on him.
Yeah.
They're down by 1. You can't tell me that Draymond Green could go up and score on Dennis Schroeder. Come on. So he throws it back to Steph, and 9 times out of 10, Steph makes that shot. But he didn't last night. And that's where I think that they're just falling behind in the series, where they're reverting back to their old tendencies and how they play of let's pass up the good shot for the better shot. But they're not making the better shot. They got to make the smarter basketball plays. And turnovers were a problem again. Draymond Green, I don't know what the hell you're doing on the last play of the game, throwing the inbound in, and you're throwing it to whoever he threw to on the Lakers, almost like a double agent, because we all know he wants to go play for the Lakers in the offseason. But that's another thing, too. Like, Draymond Green can snarl and get angry at Sabonis in the first series, and then I don't see him getting angry at all at LeBron James. But that's me looking into things a little bit.
No, that edge has gone away, man. You can't tell me that the edge is not there. If that were the Kings, I guarantee you he'd be making that shot or taking that layup. I don't know what it is. He just refuses to be aggressive in this series. And I don't know if it's that respect for LeBron, but he needs that dog in him. He needs that edge. They haven't had that extra.
But not a corgi dog.
Not a corgi, but he needs to. Like the Warriors, they're clearly a team that needs to search for something extra, some added incentive in these games. Like last game, it was them being called young. This game, it's been mutual respect between the two teams, and I think it's kind of taken the edge off of Draymond a little bit. And he's going to argue against that, saying, "Well, when I have Steph Curry right there, he's the greatest 3-point shooter of all time. I'm going to pass that ball to Steph Curry," but not when you're right under the basket. It was a horrible decision. It was like there were horrible decisions late in the game throughout. I loved that look that Steph got. Really, really sad that it didn't go in. And also, not to mention, not even just that it's a great look that Draymond has. Steph's tired.
Yeah.
Like, geez, you don't need to keep on making him work. It's like, do it, like back him up, do something, because it's whatever they were. It's overthinking. That's what it is. So I don't. It sucks that it came in game 4 because and there's multiple shots by Klay too, like the one where both Curry and Draymond shrugged their shoulders just in disbelief that Klay actually took the shot. Like
I love Steve's reaction to that.
Right there, like that's all you need to know about Klay's shot selection. Now, I know we want to get into that last shot, but I'll just say I do think, and I do want to get into Kerr and kind of the reaction around how he's coached. Like the biggest issue I had with Kerr, not necessarily, the lack of using a timeout late in the game when Draymond got that rebound. I believe they had a timeout left over. It was not necessarily him calling out the Lakers for the flopping, yet not really using a challenge. If I remember correctly, did he use a challenge or did he have a challenge remaining in that time? Specifically,
which time are you referring to, Stephen?
I'm specifically thinking about the time with Draymond setting the illegal screen and Lonnie Walker.
Yeah, they did review that, but it was
they did review.
Unsuccessful.
Yeah. So they got away with that, but that's not the thing. To me, they did not set anything up for Klay. Like as much as they were doing the GP2 and Steph pick and roll and how much it was working and how much needed to go back to that, it didn't feel like they were setting anything up for Klay. And so by the time he got to the fourth quarter, a little antsy and, rushed everything.
Yeah. Real quick, shout out to my man Joe on the text line here. What up, Joe? Former guy that I used to work with at NFL Network, now over at Spectrum Sports. Thanks for the hookup with Mike Bresnahan. But also, you're a Laker fan. Get out of here, Joe. So, yeah, Steven. I mean, let's get into it with Klay Thompson and Jordan Poole. Klay, I don't know what the hell's going on. I think that I don't want to dive into his psyche and everything, but the whole thing of coming back home and playing against the Lakers and playing in front of his dad, this is getting to him a little bit. He finished, 3 of 11, and that shot that he rushed in the fourth quarter with a minute 25 left and 14 seconds left on the clock. He and Steve had the right reaction to it. And what are you doing, Klay? What are you doing? And Even at that last possession, when Draymond gets the rebound, throws it to Steph, Steph is pressed a little bit, and Clay's wide open. But you'll see Clay even backs off, being like, "No, you take the shot, Steph. You're the guy I trust right now." Like, what is going on? And Jordan Poole, like, dude, you got to have a plan when you get on the court. He's just all over the place. What was he? 0 for 4 in the night with 0 points,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then
Turn
he's
the ball over a ton.
and then he's pulling the shit in the locker room after the game where he's talking to Kareth Burke and he's like, my shot doesn't change, my work ethic doesn't change, but my opportunities change, and I can't control that. Why? Because you're not getting enough playing time, Jordan? Jesus, come on, dude. If you start
Yeah.
making shots, if you're the guy that you were a season ago, then this isn't a problem. And I love Steve Kerr backing him up today saying, I wouldn't be surprised if Jordan Poole has a great performance tomorrow night. That very well could be the case, but I'm not confident in it right now. And this is why I'm hesitant to believe and then they could do this again, because this is just not the same team. It is in some aspects of the three, wise men of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, but two of them are looking a little older, and Steph is carrying them the whole team, and it just doesn't look good right now. And they look out of sync. They look out of focus, and this is the third time that the Warriors have been down 3-1 in a series, and each time, under Steve Kerr, I should say, they came back in the Oklahoma City one, and that was fantastic. We all led the charge with CU Monday, and that was a fun time. I remember making the whole thing on Haberman Middlecoff, and then there was, they were down 3-2 to the Rockets, and they came back and won that series. That was fun. They had Kevin Durant though. And then there was 3-1 down to the Raptors, and I didn't think they were coming back in that series just because they didn't look very good without KD, and then KD came back for that Toronto game, and it was such a mix of emotions in that game. You remember how fucking just emotional that game was, between like KD coming back, he tears his Achilles, they win the game, Bob Myers cries in the post game, then they come back to Oracle. Clay tears his ACL. They lose. The Oracle Arena closes that night. That was just so goddamn emotional.
I was at Bonnaroo.
Well, I'm sure you were emotional in some form or fashion in your own way.
I didn't catch one of the. I was watching like the Grand Ole Opry perform on the Thursday night, and I had my phone with like one random Warrior fan from Nashville watching the game, and I didn't understand what was going on because I didn't have the sound on. And I'm like, why is Clay walking off the court? What's he doing? Yeah. Yeah. So I had a different experience watching that game. And yeah, I know it's the Jordan Poole thing. Something is clearly going on, and it's gone from the punch through the regular season to him in spurts showing that he can be the Jordan Poole that earned that 4-year contract. But there's clearly something going on with him mentally that I don't think any of us can figure out. And I got to be honest, I know Ernie, Ernie too. I'm not gonna blow up here. You guys think we'll ever hear why Kuminga is getting no run at all? Because he's not very good. That's why. Okay, he's athletic. He could dunk, but good lord, I saw the Wiseman stuff too. Can we stop acting like these guys don't just put a complete halt into whatever they're doing? Great. They can maybe get you a couple of dunks here and there, but they get lost on defense. They're discombobulated on offense. They ruin everything on the offense in the half court. I understand Kuminga was getting better, but guess what? Wiggins is here. And I'd rather trust Wiggins than Kuminga. That's why. And also, I think there's something going on with, I don't know what it is. But I also think there's something going on with the coach. This brings me to the next point, Derek, because I'm seeing a lot of blame put on Kerr for how that was handled, whether it was the fact that Moody played in pretty much the majority of the fourth quarter. Did it get any run in the regular season? Like, how can you not give this kid any run and then all of a sudden you just trust him in the playoffs? Kuminga not getting any run, and all that. And then, of course, not developing Wiseman, blah, 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 blah. my question is, and I'm not saying this is a fact. I'm not saying this is what's happening. I'm just asking a question. If we know this to be a collaborative effort between Steve Kerr, Bob Myers, Draymond, Steph, Clay, all of that. I mean, not so much Clay. Clay just, turns his phone off, hard to get a hold of him. But like,
He's at the
do
ocean.
we not think that it's a collaborative effort in terms of playing time for these younger guys?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I understand Kerr has the final say and he's the head coach, but do we not think that maybe, hey, Steph and Dre, they're telling the coach, I don't know if this kid's ready. I don't know if he's just not understanding it right now. Like,
I
I don't think if they wanted to overrule Kerr when it came to the playing time, they would. They'd absolutely say, "Hey, we need this kid on the court." I think they also are partially to blame for that, for everyone that wants these guys to play.
100%. I think people forget that during the Toronto series in the NBA Finals, Steph and Draymond went to Steve Kerr and said, "We cannot play DeMarcus Cousins anymore. He's giving us nothing." They were the ones to brutally tell him he can't play anymore. And then he had to play
Right.
out of necessity because KD tore his Achilles. Yeah, no, Steph and Draymond know what they're doing when it comes to this guy needs to play, this guy doesn't need to play. I think Jonathan Kuminga, unfortunately, is going down the same road that James Wiseman is going down. It's just that for whatever reason, it's just not clicking. And Steve, I'm sorry, but Steve has no time to really grow these guys. He's got a championship team on his hands, and I know everyone's talking about what do they refer to it as, the second the
The two timeline approach.
yeah, the two timeline approach. Yeah, it hasn't worked out. Plain and simple, just hasn't worked out. But Steve also just I guess doesn't have the patience. And that's okay because to me, Moses Moody has proven himself a little bit. Where Jonathan Kuminga physically, I think, can help in this series, but mentally, I do not know. And I know a lot of people are saying, like, well, Jonathan Kuminga's young. So is Moses Moody. He's 20 years old too, but he's getting it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe there is just something there that Steve, you know, doesn't see in these guys. He's big on basketball IQ, and I know that Jordan Poole is not showing that right now, but he's proven himself in the playoffs, so he gets a little bit of a pass. But
Poole's also put him in a really tough spot because he was supposed to be like your sixth man of the year candidate going into this year, and then he's just regressed. So
yeah, but don't but Poole can't pull this shit right now where he's like, I'm not getting the opportunities to play. Don't start this right now, okay? Because I don't want to hear I'm better starting. Like if he was mad that GP2 started over him right now, you need to get over yourself. Like this is not the time to be doing this shit.
Yeah. And speaking of GP2, I mean, dude, I hadn't heard it much, but like talking about Moody in the final of that fourth quarter, playing him so much, do we not take into account that GP2 threw up in his mouth?
Well, that was a big question. That was a big question of mine. Of
he seemed fine, but like after the game,
but why?
and
But
even after that,
but you know the pick and roll was working with him. So why wasn't he playing in the fourth quarter?
yeah. I mean, was it because of the little chuck that he had in mid play?
Yeah, so I was watching that and things were rolling, and then Draymond inexplicably throws the ball to Phil Handy, and everybody's like, "Where the hell is GP2?" And everybody's seen the video by now. He has the chipmunk cheeks. He's got vomit in his cheeks.
Yeah.
I mean, like shit is whatever the Giants were going through with their shits, like going over to the Warriors right now because Kevon Looney's sick and now GP2's throwing up in the middle of a game. And by the way, if GP2 were just to throw up, like let's just say like he just threw up all over LeBron James, would that be a tech?
They like review it on Flagrant that they're showing the slow-mo
Like,
as it's happening.
And Stan Van Gundy's like, that reminds me of when my father used to take us out for hot dogs. Call me Stan. And I would eat all the hot dogs and throw up.
And then Jefferoony hot dog lover boy would eat two.
Boy.
I don't know. What's it? What was it again? What was it? You seem to remember the scene.
Jefferino hot dog buddy.
Jefferino hot dog buddy. Oh
So
man.
I wonder if Stan was Stanarino hot dog buddy.
Ernie actually Ernie 2 makes a good point here. Didn't refs get on Poole to start the season for carrying the ball? They
That's
did.
true.
I wonder if that has anything to. I wonder if that kind of. Well, no, he's still
messed up his game a little bit.
Yeah, maybe it makes him think a little bit. I don't know, but he still dribbles with like a reckless abandon into the lane.
Yeah, no,
Regardless,
he
maybe
does.
I don't know if he's thinking of. I don't know if he's thinking of carrying, but geez, man, if only they could like call a foul for players who have the ball and don't know what to do with it, then maybe he would turn his game around, you know?
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. He just needs to
And also
go to the ocean with Clay.
Another thing with Clay too, it's kind of sad. I know it's happened for this postseason, but the Lakers were just searching for the switch on LeBron to Curry. It's just sad that Clay is a part of that too. Normally, Clay's like a defender they'd want to avoid, but sometimes when LeBron had the opportunity, he's like, "Let me switch on to Clay and let me work here." It's just sad that he's kind of become that defender, that one that guys are targeting.
No, it has, and we all thought that was going to be the case when he tore his Achilles and tore his ACL, and we thought that part of his game is going to kind of go away a little bit. But that's what we thought Andrew Wiggins was going to pick things up. And I give credit to the Lakers. Darvin Ham has schemed things up very well defensively. When Steph is lighting things up, he puts LeBron on him, and it's worked a little bit. And Jared Vanderbilt and everything, and Anthony Davis wasn't really a problem in the fourth quarter, and that's where this game's kind of a fucking gut punch a little bit, where he wasn't a force. He did finish with 23 points, but you weren't really worried about him in the fourth quarter. It was really LeBron James and Austin Reeves, actually. All three of those guys finished with 20 points. But that didn't kill you. I really think the Warriors let one slip. Like, even though the Lakers played very well, and give props to who's my guy in the fourth
quarter?
Lonnie Walker. 15 points in the fourth quarter. He was clutch. He was clutch off the bench. But I really think the Warriors, if they got better shooting from Klay Thompson or Jordan Poole or anybody. I mean, Steph had a great game, but even if he shot the three ball a little bit better, they would have won that game.
Right.
And I can't believe I'm saying this, but has it come to a point now where we really can't rely on the Warriors from 3-point range? Because they are shooting terribly in the series. I mean, take game 2 out of it. They have not shot well.
No. And Lonnie Walker almost outscored the Warriors' entire team in the fourth. I mean, the Warriors only had 17 points. That can't happen. And I think I was kind of embarrassed because I was watching this game at Sauced. Ryan Mauser, good old Mauser, he hits me up. He was down from Sacramento. He was in the area, wasn't going to make it back up to Sacramento for the game in time. Asked if I wanted to watch it downtown. So Jesse and I went to Sauced, had a little barbecue. Yeah, had a little barbecue, watched the game. Great atmosphere, except they have axe throwing in there, which is
nice.
Very it's great probably if you're doing it, but if you're just sitting down, it's very distracting.
That's probably loud as shit.
It's very loud.
Didn't our guy James Pappas work there?
Yeah, he worked there for a little bit. He had a cup of coffee. He's like the Moonlight Graham of Sauced. And anyway, so we were watching the game, and there's I don't really tend to get loud when I'm at home, but maybe it's because Mauser's kind of like a diehard LeBron fan, and the fact that he kept on calling Austin Reeves the white goat, which was just really getting to me. And then the whole Lonnie Walker thing. But in the fourth, as Walker was starting to go off, I was like, I just kept on yelling, "Take that, Lonnie! I dare you! Take that shot! Take that shot!" And then specific, yeah, exactly. And and after that deep 2 where he looked like Carmelo, like where he knocked out that one right at the top of the key over Steph. That's when I shut up. I was like, all right, okay, Lonnie, do your thing. My God.
But I bet he doesn't do it again.
It,
But
well,
that's
but
but
that's
that's
a,
a
that's
risky
that
that's a
doesn't
risk you
matter.
gotta take. That's a risk you gotta take.
Each player, this is the thing about strength in numbers, which had the Warriors just so consistent early on. Each player at least needs to make their imprint one game, on one game per series. Each player does. You got to have your stars doing their thing. Steph was, but you need to have Clay. That's for certain. You need to have Clay go off. Like, for example, actually, I don't even know what's going on with the Nuggets and the Suns right now, but
It's a close
like,
game.
it's a close game. Like, if they don't get anything outside of Steph and KD, or excuse me, out of Devin Booker and KD, like, I don't know how they're going to survive through the rest of the postseason. Someone else is going to have an
Oh,
imprint on
Landry
that
Shamet,
game.
baby.
Landry Shamet did play well in that last one, but
I totally forgot
I
about him. I did not know he was on the Suns.
it's kind of sad that he's become like the third string guy. I remember with the Clippers, I thought he was like
Oh
going to be a
yeah.
starting two guard with any team. But anyway, um, yeah, there's no one has had an imprint on this game. We haven't even had like a Kevon Looney type of rebound game yet because they're not giving him any minutes. It's
Well,
it's
game
just a brutal
one.
series. Yeah, it's just a
Game one
brutal
he had
series.
game one he had 23 rebounds, but
Oh, that's
no,
right. Yeah, he was very hot.
I'm with you. I mean, he hasn't made an impact as far as, physicality in the series, and no one really has, except for Andrew Wiggins on that dunk. Yeah, I mean, I was really hoping they were going to win last night, and we didn't have to go down this road again of the 3-1 talk. And I was really hoping they win because you could have called this the GP puke and rally game.
The GP puke game.
The JP
Oh
the,
my
the
god.
JP puke and rally game. That's what I was thinking the
The
whole time. I was like, this could be so clever. No one's thought about this. Oh fuck, they lost.
in GP2 instead of GP2, it's going to be GP puke.
The GP puke and rally.
Wow, that would have been something.
Yeah, it would have
Maybe
been.
they should have. Maybe they should have put him in the fourth quarter. But I
Well,
like the way.
did he have to go again?
I don't know.
Elena texted
I
me
don't know.
during the game. She was like, at first we thought first we thought he shit his pants and had to leave the court, and then she goes, did he leave the court again? So apparently he left twice.
Oh, there's got to be another reason compared to wow. Speaking of Stan Van Gundy, he's at the Giants game. That's random. He's a big baseball fan. I know that. Anyway,
Is he really?
yeah. So yeah, there had to be some other reason why he wasn't closing out that game because it felt like everybody would be calling for GP2, a defensive specialist, especially when Lonnie Walker, their guard, was going off. Also, my favorite thing, I love how LeBron's I'm not going to say lying because lying is kind of strong, but just his little fibs have kind of made their way into the spotlight. Whether it's like on the shop where Marcus Rashford, the Man United soccer player, says some random quote that he lives by, and then LeBron's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, that's my favorite saying," like that kind of thing. Just like
Mm-hmm.
little fibs here and there. I love how at the end of the TNT post game he said he told Lonnie he knew that Lonnie was going to have a big game. He knew that Lonnie was going to come up big
Get out
for
of
us
here.
in this one. It's like
Whatever.
LeBron, you're doing it again. He knows. I think he's really leaning into it.
Sure he is.
Yeah.
So let's just get to it, Steven. Do you have confidence in this team coming back down 3-1?
No, but like no, but until they lose, I'm going to continue to just give them the benefit of the doubt. But this isn't the same team that came back down 3-1 against the Thunder. That's one of the best teams of all time. This is not the same team that we've seen in the past. This is going to be tough, man. But two of the next three are at home. The home court advantage uh, could be a factor in it. And I don't know, maybe Clay needs to take a jump in the Pacific Ocean up in Northern California instead of Southern California. Maybe go to Baker Beach instead of Manhattan Beach or wherever he was going. So you wouldn't want to take a dip in Baker Beach. That's terribly cold water. Awful. That does not have any healing properties. That has shrinking properties. You know what I'm saying? So I think I do, but at the same time, not really. And looking on it from a broader perspective, the fact that like Sharks fans, for example, are just hoping to get the number 1 overall pick in the draft lottery, which they didn't because the next great one is upcoming, a guy by the name of Connor Bedard. It's not like the Warriors are hoping for that, where they're just waiting for another rebuild. I'm glad with what they've done. They've just done it for over a decade. We're so used to it. It does suck that it's coming to an end this way, and it has to be done at the hands of the Lakers. Do you have confidence?
As of last night, no. I thought that this was going to end to the Lakers, and that just eats me up inside because I hate this team so much.
Huh.
But I've thought about it a little bit, and there's so many reasons to think that they can't do this just because of how they've looked this season for the majority of the time and how they've looked during the series and how they lack the physicality and how it's just a weird matchup. These are just totally different opposites of basketball teams and the way that they're constructed. But there is something about just championship DNA that the Warriors do have. And sometimes it can grow. And I do believe that Steph Curry, nice cameo by the cat. I do believe that Steph Curry has the ability to do this. I do believe that deep down, Klay Thompson has the ability to do this. I do believe that Draymond Green has the ability to do this. I do believe that Steve Kerr has the ability to do this. As far as everybody else, I don't know. That's the part that I'm wondering about. So I think they can. I think that they can come back, but I'm not as confident as I am in years past. There was something about 2016 because they were 73-9 and you're like they can't lose. No team is beating them 4 times. And then it was crazy because they came back from a 3-1 deficit, and then they blew a 3-1 deficit. It was the craziest thing. This time around, you get one game at Oracle. God, I wish. You have one game at Chase Center, and you can keep the series alive. And I do think they have a strong possibility to do that tomorrow. The real tell is on Friday night. If they prolong the series, can we get a Game 6 Klay? Can we get a emotional, hard-fought win at the Crypt? And can we get this back for a CU Sunday for a Game 7? I hope so. I'm not as confident as I was in years past, but I think they're capable of doing it.
I don't put any doubt for them, man, but I also think the human element comes into play here where the reality sets in. Like, this could be the end. And I think this could force them into more rush shots, into the untimely turnovers. And but the Lakers aren't gonna get the same performance in the fourth quarter as they did with Lonnie Walker. And can't act like the Warriors played game 4 as if they did game 1 and game 3. As a matter of fact, it was like the opposite of game 1, where it's like the Warriors were the ones who dominated through 3 quarters. And then in the fourth quarter, that's when the bench guys started taking over. In game 1, it was Poole. And then in game 4, it was Lonnie. So I don't think they're going to get that again. LeBron continues to do this load management thing. I think the Warriors are going to be more cognizant of the flopping and being a little more self-aware in terms of not falling into that trap. But also, like, one of these illegal screens, there's nothing you could really do about it. That's up to the Lakers. You might have to give them the credit on that one for not even for fooling the refs. And you know what else gives me hope, Derek? Glad we came full circle here.
The corgi.
The corgi. The corgi. Can I be honest? I'm gonna open up.
I only asked you to be honest, Steven. I hope you don't lie to me.
I am going to open up a little bit. Don't
open up too much.
I created this photo on Twitter, and I thought it would get a little more run. I thought that people were going to really dig it. It only got a couple of likes, which is fine. I'm not a big like guy. But what I did, Derek, it's hilarious. All right?
You seem hurt by this.
I'm very hurt. I got the corgi.
Yeah.
So you know what I did? I screenshotted the characteristics of a corgi, personality traits. I even hashtagged the Warriors to get it out there to the masses so it could trend. And I added NBA predictions, 5 out of 5 on the corgi personality trait scale. I thought that was genius with how low quality it is. I thought there was a little comedic effect to it. I thought it was clever. Now Ernie just liked it. Turns out that nobody is a fan. So I was a little hurt by that.
Well, Steven, I don't know what to tell you about that one.
Dude, I used to be so good at formulating my thoughts through Twitter. Now I'm not.
Yeah, because it's a waste of time.
I can't put my emotions into words. One time my friends touted me for that. They were like, dude, how do you even like think of stuff to say? Because my Twitter used to be banging, dude. Used to be on point. This was before like the radio station and stuff. And maybe it's because I was tweeting every single thought that I had. Hence why I deleted like 15,000 of my tweets. But I used to be on point, dude. And now I'm just like kind of off of it,
I've definitely with me cutting back on my Twitter usage, I've noticed the decrease in likes on my shit. And you know what? At the end of the day, like Ray Ratto and I were talking the other day about Twitter, and he was just like, he tweeted something the other day, and I liked it, and then he texts me and he goes, "God, I'm so fucking clever," and I'm like, "Yeah," or you're just bored on Twitter, and he goes, "Well, yeah, of course, but Twitter's stupid," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's the whole point, right?" I agree with you.
Thanks, Ernie's. Not 4 likes. Now it's on the come up.
Look at
Now
you,
it's
you
going to get into
pity whore for likes.
now it's going to get into the algorithm. Now the For You section, it's going to be all Langford KCBS.
You
Feeling
should
better about it.
hashtagging the Warriors isn't going to help, man. You need to put Raymond Ritter on that tweet, and then it'll help you out.
Yeah, double P. What is it? Double Raymond
Double R.
PR. Double
Double
R.
R.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks, Ernie's. Appreciate you.
Well, as far as tomorrow, what do you think? You think they lose this at Chase Center? Because the only thing that makes me worried a little bit is the fact that the Lakers were in the same scenario, the exact same scenario, against the Grizzlies, and they had a game 5 in Memphis where they could close it out, and they didn't. So, and LeBron even brought that up last night.
Yeah.
So, and it. By the way, did you see this ridiculously dumb thing that Mike Greenberg did today on Get Up?
Yeah.
He thinks that LeBron James should rest in Game 5 because, in his words, there's no chance the Lakers win that game at Chase Center. Dude, God, that's just like that's like a straight up TV guy and not really knowing how sports work.
Well, that's also, I mean, LeBron basically does rest in the middle of games. He just moseys on along, plays decoy in the
But
first
not
couple of
to
quarters.
not even play? Like to treat him like a pitcher? You insane?
Yeah, load managing in the playoffs. That's really what they should do. I don't know, man. It's just tomorrow. Actually, I think going back to last night. I think Steph was in that mode. They've talked about it before. They talked about it in Game 4 against the Celtics. They talked about it in Game 7 against the Kings. When Steph gets into that mindset that he's not going to let the Warriors lose this game, it's kind of how I felt last night. I felt like Steph was in that mindset. Like, I'm not going to let the Warriors, we are not going to lose this game, and I'm going to give it everything that I have. And who knows, maybe he knocks down a couple of more threes and the outcome's different. But it felt like that was the kind of game for Steph.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to doubt Steph. They're gonna need another game like that where he's damn near close to a triple double. They're going to need something. They're going to need more scoring from Draymond. I want to see Draymond score in the double digits. It can't just be single triple guy. It can't be that. Although I actually didn't even look at his stat line. I've kind of grown tired of looking at the box score, especially in the playoffs. Like,
yeah,
it just doesn't tell the full story. Obviously, I did that after Game 1, and look how that podcast turned out. So, I I haven't looked at his stat line, but I need to see double digits from Dre. Did he even score in double digits in his last game? He could have. I haven't even looked at it.
No, he
And
didn't.
then like
Scored 8.
something off the bench. DiVincenzo was actually okay. DiVincenzo was fine. I think he only missed a couple of shots,
Yeah.
but he also probably could have taken a couple of more. Jordan Poole can't have a 0. Can't have a 0 in the
No goose
box
eggs.
score. Can't have a goose egg there. That can't happen. So a lot has to go right for the Warriors. I actually think they're going to win Game 5. I do. Game 6 is where I'm questioning it a little bit. Game 6, traveling back down to LA. I think that one's more the head scratcher. So yeah.
And that will be a nervous weekend if that happens because they'll play Game 6 on Friday and they'll play Game 7 on Sunday. So it'll be a hell of a weekend. I think that they'll take care of business of tomorrow. I think that, like I've been saying this whole series, there needs to be equal parts physicality and 3-point shooting. And I would go back to Kevon Looney if he's feeling well. And we need rebounding. We need the inside game, a little bit more of the Steph Curry, GP2, Andrew Wiggins, whoever you want underneath the basket, pick and roll. And we need Klay Thompson to shoot well. And we need Jordan Poole to shoot well. Let's just see if it happens. I don't doubt tomorrow because I think it will happen tomorrow. But Game 6 is the one I'm worried about. So we'll see if it gets to that point. And Ernie too just brought it up. If there is a Game 7, it would be on Mother's Day. And the most famous moment in Warriors-Lakers playoff history, and probably the most positive in Warriors history, is the Sleepy Floyd game on Mother's Day. And that would be really fitting.
So, yeah, but also one of the worst memories came on Father's Day.
But we don't need to go down that road.
Yeah.
We're not there yet. So hopefully by the next time we do this podcast, we're talking about a Game 6 happening. Before we do that, before we end this thing, I want to catch a few little things. Draymond Green, during the game last night, was fouled hard. Well, he wasn't fouled. Well, was he fouled? Whatever happened, he was going for an open shot down the court. Steph Curry threw a pass to him, and LeBron James hits him, and he falls, and he hits his head on the court.
Oh.
I guess it probably was a foul, actually. But not a flagrant by any means. Draymond shakes his head, rubs it for a while. And did you in that moment, Steven, think, well, Draymond may have to leave this game because they may check him for a concussion?
I did.
Listen, I'm not here, I'm all for guys playing, and I'm glad that Draymond Green did not leave that game. But you can't tell me for a second that there's some hypocrisy between the NFL and the NBA, where there's no NBA protocol for concussions. If Draymond Green was playing football last night, people would be up in arms that he was allowed to play in that game.
Yeah, they would have broken out the blue 10 as soon as it was done. He would have been out for a couple of plays. But then I saw him with that fake dribble handoff behind the back move where he goes up for a layup.
He was fine.
So he seemed okay, especially after the ghost pass straight to Darwin Ham.
No. That was to Phil Handy.
Phil Handy, excuse me, not Darwin Ham. Yeah, to Handy. Guru's guy, right?
What's up?
Guru's guy, right?
Yeah, Guru's guy.
Yeah. So I knew he was fine, but yes, for a little moment I thought, oh, he's concussed. Yeah. I thought he was going to be walking back to the locker room.
I thought so too. Also, did you see who the first celebrity was shown last night at the arena on the broadcast? And I put in quotes, celebrity.
No, who?
Kay Adams.
Really?
Yeah. Because I guess what TNT has a sponsorship with FanDuel.
So Kay Adams was shown. So what?
I don't know if I should be saying this. Let's just say this. Kay Adams, she's doing a fine job now, but not really well liked on the old Good Morning Football show.
Interesting. I like that show. Watch it with the sound off every morning, but I like that show.
I think they're happy with Jamie. What's her last name?
Erdal or Airdal
Yeah.
or Erdal or whatever.
Yeah. That's all I'll say about that.
Okay.
And also, I noticed that when they when they went through all the other celebrities that were at the arena, they showed Jack Nicholson. He's always at every
Oh,
Laker game. But did you notice who was sitting next to him on the left?
yeah. Who was that again? I forgot.
Jim Gray.
That's right, Jim Gray. Yeah.
And not to, I feel like I'm going after all these sports personalities.
Well,
Jim
you are.
Gray.
What do you mean? You feel like you are?
No,
You're
I know.
feeling that way because you are doing it.
Jim Gray. I'll say I'm not really a fan of. He's a name dropper. He's a guy that always likes to tell you like, oh, I was hanging out with this guy and that guy. And
You
in
mean
that
like Jack
moment,
Nicholson?
yes, and in that moment, and also he just talks a lot, Jim Gray. So in that moment where Jim Gray is sitting next to Jack Nicholson, it looks like Jim is talking his ear off. And then they showed later on Jack not sitting with Jim Gray. So I wanted to know at what point did Jack Nicholson turn to Jim Gray and go, "Hey, listen, would you shut the fuck up? I'm trying to watch the basketball game."
I didn't notice even Jim Gray had left. But yeah,
Oh yeah,
Jack Nicholson's
someone different was sitting next to Jack at a certain point.
that's absolutely the type of thing that Nicholson would do. 100%.
Yeah,
Wouldn't anyone, if a guy was talking your ear off during a game, especially when you're sitting courtside, I wouldn't be able to stand that. So, and rightfully so. But at least Jim Gray gets to sit next to Jack Nicholson. That's pretty cool.
yeah, that is pretty cool. Before we get out of here, just some NBA tidbits as far as the other playoff series. The Heat have a chance to knock out the Suns, the Knicks tomorrow. So that would, God, I think it would be the first time. I think I already had this the other day since 1999 that a eighth seed makes it to the conference finals. So that would be interesting.
The
Things
first
have
time since it switched from a 5-game series to a 7-game
yes,
series.
yes, that is correct.
So both the 7th and 8th have a chance to do it. That would be the first time.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Two play-in teams too. Things have switched in the Boston Philadelphia series. The Celtics have a 3-2 lead in that series, and the Sixers they're on the brink of going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think for the first time since 2001, with Allen Iverson. I want to say, could be wrong about that. I think that's the case.
No, that sounds right.
And I saw I didn't see much of that game, but I saw Joe Mazzulla getting a lot of heat for the way that he's coaching the series. So it may be that Doc Rivers has taken the inexperienced Joe Mazzulla to school a little bit. And then we're looking in this game right now, and it's a 10-point lead for the Denver Nuggets over the Phoenix Suns as this game is in the third quarter. And prior to this game tonight, series tied at 2-2, there was that incident with Nikola Jokic and Matt Ishbia. Ishbia, the owner of the Phoenix Suns now.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of agree with Jokic a little bit, but also he was kind of aggressive with Ishbia. Give me the ball. But I loved the tone of Michael Malone and Jokic after the game, just being like, this guy's a fan. He's taking the ball. Like everybody's like, well, he's the owner of the team. I don't give a fuck if he's the owner of the team. Give me the ball back. And they made up prior to tonight's game. He, gave him the ball, and it seemed cordial. But I thought the whole thing was ridiculous.
It was an incident that didn't need to be talked about as much as it was, especially after that game. Like that stretch in the fourth quarter, it was just Jokic, Murray, Durant, Booker, just high-level basketball. So the second half, that moment in the second quarter kind of took away from what happened in the second half. And God, it's so fun when these two teams are on. I mean, they got some of the best scorers in the world. Like Jokic continues to just make shots that I didn't even know he could make, or maybe I did know he could make them, but for some reason they just always catch me by surprise every time, which they shouldn't. He's a 2-time MVP. Jamal Murray continues to be like the most underappreciated guard in the league. Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, when they're on, I know it's a lot of your turn, my turn, and we kind of complained about that in the last podcast to the detriment of their team. Yep. But when they're on, when it is your turn, my turn, but they're actually making shots. Damn, man, just watching guys work one-on-one, it can be a lot. It can be very entertaining. Like when you're not having to break down the ball movement and, screen setting and where this guy's supposed to be positioning and all that. Like, we talked about this, and sorry, Ernie, too, for kind of going off a little bit about the Kaminga thing. But like if Kaminga were a part of the Suns team, maybe he'd be getting a little more run because there's not as much movement that's involved. And instead it's, hey, use your athleticism. We're gonna get to the cup. Dude, it can be a lot of fun to watch. Hopefully it's the same here in the second half.
No, I mean it was fun to watch them the other night, especially with Jokic scoring.
Yeah.
Was it 53 and they still lost the game?
Yeah.
But
sorry, totally went off base. But point being, Matt Ishbia, the whole thing, Ishbia was in the wrong, and I like how Jokic is like, I thought the league was supposed to protect the players, and like that was a good impression, by the way. I've never done one. Hopefully his Jokic brothers don't come after me. But I just found it hilarious. It's like the league's supposed to protect the players. It's like protect you from what? The Ishbia is just holding the ball. It's not like he's doing anything. Like it's not, what are you gonna get hurt?
We said this the other day, but he definitely sounded like Drago. It was like if he does, he does.
For sure. Yeah. I don't care if he's fat. I don't care if he's older. I don't care if he's Beyonce. You don't hold the ball. You don't hold the ball in my court. If I go play the Lakers, I'm in LA. I don't care if you're Jack Nicholson. I don't care if you're Kim Kardashian. You don't hold ball.
I don't care if you're Kay Adams or Jim Gray. You get the fuck out of my way.
Can you imagine like him and Joe Lacob getting into it? Oh my god.
Okay, Jokic, this is your ball. I'm not messing with you, okay? This is your ball.
I remember you made me do that stupid skit where you.
It was not stupid.
Where you forced me to be Joe Lacob, and then you
I literally taught you the impression of Joe Lacob like 30 seconds before we did that sketch.
I was like, I just did it. I didn't even know what.
You literally just talk fast. You just go, okay, so here's what we do. I'm Joe Lacob. This is how we're going to talk, and this is how we do it. We'll trade away James Wiseman the last second, even though.
We like to make money. Believe me, we like to make money. But we also like to keep our players. We like to keep our players. We like to keep them happy. We love our players. I love guys. I love Steph. I love Clay. I love Draymond. But the reality is, you can't keep everyone for a long amount of time. At some point, it's going to end.
Guys,
anyway, sorry.
We're not talking about Oakland, even though we put on Oakland on the court. We put it on their jerseys, but I'm not talking about Oakland anymore. Yeah. The Nuggets-Suns series has been a lot of fun, and I don't think anybody's having a better postseason than Devin Booker right now. Good Lord.
His scoring line is crazy.
But I do hope the Warriors come back and win this series. But I will admit, I do not like their chances against any of these other teams, against the Nuggets or the Suns. I think that if they advance, they may lose in the Western Conference Finals. But then again, they may lose this series. So we should see what happens. Real quick, it sounds like this Vegas deal with the A's is falling through, and they got a new location now. I don't know the whole details. I think at the end of the day, the A's just want to go to Vegas. They have multiple locations now that they're looking at. It's getting weird, but it sounds like they're going.
Yeah, well, the first one fell through. They wanted $500 million in public financing. They didn't get it. So now this one, they've bargained it down to $375 million in public financing. So I guess they've come to terms on it, but they also came to terms on the last place. So I'm not going to believe it until there's an actual shovel in the ground, until there's a hand in the dirt. But they've screwed up this whole thing, man. Like, bottom line, I don't know how much Vegas wanted a baseball team, especially one that's the A's. I know that Oakland wanted them. I know the fans did. I know the Bay Area still wanted 2 baseball teams. Mm-hmm. There's something about the Bay. It's so big. I think we kind of take for granted just how big the Bay Area is, but it feels right to have 2 football teams and 2 baseball teams, not necessarily 2 hockey teams. I think the Sharks are perfect for where they are, but even the Sharks, I haven't heard any update on this, but even they're going to be forced to move out of their area at some point because Google is taking over to create like this campus downtown, and HP Pavilion or SAP Center is right in the middle of that.
Are you serious? I did not know about that.
Yeah, that was a couple of years ago. So, and I actually went on a little rant about that. I spent a segment on it on the pregame show, kind of just how just how kind of devastating it was, considering how diehard the fans are in San Jose. They really are. For the Sharks, for the Earthquakes, they show up, although not really so much this season. There's been a lot of empty seats. It's a little eerie if you were going to games in like the late 2000s and seeing that team play. But this whole thing with Las Vegas, it's a mess, man. But I won't believe it until I actually see a stadium being built. I'm done with the proposals. I'm done with the agreements. This is all great. But until you build a stadium, until I see like a Roomba 2.0 somewhere in downtown Las Vegas, I'm not going to believe it.
Yeah, I don't know if I can believe it either, but the A's have made their intentions known, and I think that's enough for the fans to be turned off right now. So,
and so has Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball said, "Hey, we don't want this thing in Oakland." So,
it's pretty clear. All right, guys. Hopefully, the next time we are doing the podcast on Thursday, we were talking about a Game 6 that will make or break the Warriors season. And also, it's official, Steven. Excuse me.
You're sneezing?
It's official.
It's official. It's official.
God. Allergies.
Ooh.
We got an NFL release happening on Thursday,
Jesus
baby.
Christ.
And not only that, but tomorrow we get some little tidbits. International games. Black Friday. We're playing games on Black Friday now, Steven. Yeah.
It's great. It's great. Can't wait to learn all about it.
Why do you hate this?
Same reason you hate corgis. It's unreasonable. And it makes no sense.
Never said that corgis weren't unreasonable. They just look ugly.
Well, the schedule release is like on the list of things that I'm interested in with an NFL season, the schedule release is not there. You know what I am interested in, Derek? And
What's
we haven't talked about it. And I'm so glad that they did this, that the NFL Films people have a quote unquote mic'd up Hall of Fame. And I don't know if there has been more of a consumer of mic'd up videos than myself.
Oh, stop yourself.
I know you worked at NFL Network, okay? You were in the sausage factory to see how it was made. But your boy would make an appointment television.
Get all the tidbits, okay, Adams.
To watch what was called Sound FX at the time. Then it turned into NFL Game Day All Access. I watched that every single week. All right?
And yeah, okay, Steven.
That's what I'm interested in, not some schedule release. Oh, schedule. Cool.
Steven, how much NFL films have you actually consumed, though?
Like the other, besides mic'd up stuff?
Yes.
Not a lot.
Okay.
But mic'd up,
don't tell me that you've consumed it more than anybody else.
What, the mic'd up videos?
Have you seen Hank Stram's mic'd up from Super Bowl III?
Oh, of course. We're gonna matriculate the ball down the field, boys. Of course I have.
I'll give you credit for that then.
Okay. Come on.
Come on, Rats.
When he's got the little rolled up paper and he's just like, I told you to be there.
There you go, boys. 64 touch power trap, boys. Yeah. All right. I take that back. By the way, A. Scott does an amazing impression of Hank Stram.
Of course he does.
So wait, they're doing an NFL Films mic'd up Hall of Fame?
Yeah, man. So they put Phillip Rivers on there, which is great because he's hilarious.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I'll never forget his quote to Rolando McClain. That's a good blitz. You put that on film, that's a bad blitz.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I didn't like him when he was with the Chargers, but I got a lot of respect for him in the way that he played the game. I think he said something along the lines of, "Man, that really puts a beef in my stew" or something, which is hilarious.
There's a snake in my boot.
The one they just posted though was Andrew Luck, who had my all-time favorite mic'd ups. He would be so complimentary of the other team.
A good tackle.
And yeah, oh man, nice hit, big man. Oh, where you go? Good play. All right, guys, just one play at a time. Okay, we're gonna do this one play at a time. I'm Andrew Luck. I have a book club.
We'll hold on. We'll get to Andrew Luck real quick here. Is Matthew Stafford in there?
Yeah. Matthew Stafford was just put on there today, I believe.
Good, because he's got some memorable ones from that first season, his rookie season, where he dislocated his shoulder and threw that touchdown pass to win the game.
There's a couple where he makes like the classic fourth quarter comebacks. Let me see
Yeah.
who else is on there. Of course, Randy Moss, which was
I got
hilarious.
see here. This is Brett Favre out here.
Yeah,
Brett Favre.
Brett Favre. He said to Dante Culpepper before the coin toss, he's like, yo, what are we always taking PlayStation? And
Tails.
Culpepper didn't say anything. He didn't say anything. When we're playing the game, PlayStation. Tails, man. Taking tails. It's tails. Tails never fails. PlayStation. And then they took heads and they lost.
You should have told him Tails.
You should have told him Tails.
They don't play Madden like us.
They don't play PlayStation like us. And then
Terrell Owens.
Terrell Owens is going to be up there. James Harrison, Chad Ochocinco.
I remember James Harrison talking.
Chad Ochocinco has just one of the. He's
Child,
just
please.
so good.
Child, please.
He is so good with everything that he did mic'd up. And then God, I'm trying to think of some other greats. There was one where J.J. Watt just completely destroyed the Saints. That was back in 2015 with the Texans. I go back and watch that. It's 5 minutes of him just dominating.
The best quote from J.J. Watt in NFL Films is him going to Ray Rice, and we all know Ray Rice, saying, "Man, I used to eat burritos bigger than you."
Yeah, I eat burritos bigger than you. Oh man, so good.
What about Kevin Green? Linebacker for the Steelers and
the linebacker.
Yeah, he used to talk all the time. John Randall was great.
I haven't seen those.
See, Mr. Big Talker, NFL Films.
Yeah, dude. One of my favorites was from, speaking of the Steelers, was from Mike Tomlin. This was last year when they brought in a random kicker whose name I can't remember, but Mike Tomlin was so happy. Because this guy was brand new. His name is Matthew, y'all. You see Matthew?
That's Mike Tomlin?
Yeah. He's normally a really intense individual, but he's like, you see that? You met Matthew? Matthew, the kicker. He's our kicker now. It's Matthew. So
my favorite Mike Tomlin NFL Films is during America's Game, where he tells Sean Payton, after he wins the Super Bowl, he goes, "Hey, congrats." And I guess they called the Lombardi Trophy Tiffany, but he goes, "But I slept with Tiffany last year."
Oh my God.
Kind of weird. But then again, we know about Joe Lacob and his wife sleeping with the
trophy.
Trophy. What was the trophy in the NBA called? The
Larry O'Brien.
The Larry O'Brien.
All right.
Real quick on Andrew Luck, he got in the news lately because apparently some teams have been, I guess, inquiring about his service. The Commanders reached out to him, and Jim Irsay told everybody, "That's tampering. That's my quarterback." Have you seen Andrew Luck lately? He's skinny as hell. He's not ready to play football.
He's not ready. Derek, I'm very glad. I have a video of Mike Tomlin with Matthew the kicker because I tweeted about it. So I did
Lay it on me.
Because I did a quick Twitter advanced search. So here we go.
Matthew Wright trying his first extra point of his career. Not a Mona Lisa, but it's up and through. Matthew Wright. He's a young man from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, who came to the Steelers as a free agent.
Matthew the kicker, baby. His name's Matthew, y'all. If y'all didn't met him yet, his name's Matthew. You know Matthew? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where'd he go, you little thud? Where'd he go, you little thud? Where'd he go?
Matthew.
Just TJ Watts having none of it. Just like I don't know who the hell that is.
Matthew the kicker, y'all. I just love how happy he was for Matthew the kicker. Way to go, little thug. So good.
All right. Get psyched, Steven. We're talking schedule on Thursday.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What are you excited about for the schedule, Derek? What intrigues you about it?
I want to know who's playing week 1. I want to know who's opening the season. I want to know the Raiders schedule. I want to know the Niners schedule. Listen, I understand that we know who the opponents are, and I know it's a lot of hoopla. Believe me. I worked at NFL Network, and I think that the whole NFL schedule release show is a little much. Actually, it's a whole lot of much. We don't need a 4-hour show to go through the schedule. And to be perfectly honest, too, also the NFL Network just laid off a shit ton of people too. So my condolences to everybody that lost their job as well. Like, God, that's the big reason why I left. But I still want to see the schedule. Yeah, I'm interested. Steven, I'm a football guy. You should know this by now.
I have a trick. I know 6 games that are on every team's schedule automatically.
Well, yeah, division.
Exactly. So there you go.
You thought you were clever there?
There you go. I mean, come on.
But
I
is it
know
going to be a
6
Sunday
games on
night
every-
game? Is it going to be a Sunday afternoon game? Is it going to be on CBS? Is it going to be on Fox? These are the important details, Steven. We need to know.
You know, I will say though, there was one thing that did catch my eye when Adam Schefter tweeted a list of things from the NFL and the schedule release, that no team is going to be linked to one network. That it's not like Fox is going to be taking a majority of NFC teams and the CBS is going to be taking AFC teams.
Yep.
They're all going to be free agents, so to speak. I did find that interesting because I do have a certain preference of one network over the other.
And which is that?
I like Fox better than CBS.
Because of Greg Olson?
Not just that, it's not just the broadcasters. I think Fox does a much better job in terms of showing replays, showing angles right away, and just
It's
the
a
overall
cleaner
look of
looking
it.
broadcast too.
It has more of a big game feel to me. Like CBS just has that 10 a.m. start, like, just day game type of atmosphere. Whereas Fox, it makes it feel much bigger than it actually is.
And let's be completely honest. Greg Olson a lot better than Tony Romo these days.
That he is. There's no doubt about it.
No, that will be interesting too because I've always grown up knowing, like, watching the AFC is going to be on CBS and the NFC is going to be on Fox, and that's going to be different this year. So we shall see. See, more intrigue to watch the schedule release, Steven. Come on.
All right, fine.
All right. Ernie's and everybody join us on Thursday. Hopefully we're reviewing a Warriors win, and we're talking about a big, fat, stinky NFL schedule release. Until then, Steven, say what you always say.
Derek hates dogs, everybody.
Just corgis. Chill out.